pervs. It's famous first times. You've tuned into the podcast about shagging.
Yeah, that's what you tuned in for, you dirty bastards.
Dirty bastards, liar.
Why are you listening to this?
They're only teenagers, usually. But it's alright, you're in good company. Me and Ian are pervs as well. I'm Dom.
I'm Ian.
And this is Famous First Times. Let's listen to some shagging stories.
Yeah, this is episode 1 of the new series of Famous First Times. You know what it is? It's Famous First Times, famous people's first shags.
Or thereabouts.
So let's kick off. Noddy Holder, Dom.
So today we're doing Noddy Holder.
And I'm fucking ecstatic I got this. I didn't even know he'd written an autobiography.
It is amazing that it exists.
It came out in 2000, and 2000 is the best era for any autobiography because it's just after Lad Culture. Britpop Loaded magazine was at its pomp, and it was just before everyone started getting cancelled for shit. So pop stars and rock stars can write with impunity about shit, and they'll make it up to try and live up to Loaded. And we've got some good shit in this. It proved correct.
But they didn't know. They didn't know what had happened. Everything would get digitised, and the world had come back to analyse their fleeting thoughts.
Not the world, just two dickheads from Manchester. What do you think of Noddy? What do you think of Noddy Holder as a man? Not about his music, as a man.
I think he's all right, you know. I think avuncular fella, innit?
Yeah.
Seems like he'd be a bit of a laugh, like probably, you know, blow raspberries on your belly in pub and just downing pints in one, like all time.
What about his music? What about Slade, the band? Do you like them?
Some good tunes, yeah. It's weird because no one really respects glam music. They respect Bowie and T-Rex, but all the other glam bands just seem a bit of a joke.
Yeah.
Because they're just all dressed daft. But yeah, there's some great tunes. Can't feel the noise.
Yeah, I agree. My Oh My.
Because I Love You.
Yeah, classics. What do you think about his sex life as a pop star in Slade? What do you think he got up to? What do you think he was like? Think he got much action?
I don't know of any pop star that hasn't taken advantage of groupies.
He's not your classic looking hunk though, is he, Noddy?
No, but most of them ugly rock stars from 70s were rolling in fanny, weren't they? Even Phil Collins got a bit. So yeah, he would have probably been getting off with people left, right and centre, I reckon. Okay, so this first little story is when he's 15.
This is from his autobiography, Who's Crazy Now? And it was published in the year 2000.
When I was 15, I started to go into Soho on my own. Everyone back home talked about the sex shops there, and I wanted to go take a look. I was too young to get in any of them, and too frightened to try. But I walked around peering in all the windows. Soho really was the strip capital of Britain in those days. We had no equivalent in the Midlands. I couldn't believe it when I got in there. Women were just standing in doorways asking any bloke that walked by what they wanted. There were strip clubs in Birmingham, but no real red light district. It was a different world to me.
But yeah, there's young Noddy going around checking out women in Soho, in sex shops.
Opened his eyes.
I can't believe it. Look at all the boobs.
So Noddy started bands up when he was pretty young. When he was 18, 19, he went over to Germany, playing gigs over there. Do you like Beatles style, playing gigs pretty much every night. So this is his story about doing that.
In Frankfurt, the 6 of us were sharing a flat in the centre of town. It was where all the visiting bands stayed. One lot would move in for a month and then move out on the day that the next lot arrived. The combination of our newfound independence and the rock and roll lifestyle was lethal. It was debauchery from the start to finish. We just drank, played and shagged as much as we wanted, with a few pills to keep our energy levels up. Then we spent our day sleeping or trying to recover from the night before. The German women were all over us. They loved English bands. I think all of us pulled on the first night. The extracurricular activities of the music business back home was a teddy bear's picnic compared to what went on in Germany. Thank God. The only problem was that we were all spending more than we made. We pissed it all up the wall or wasted it on women or gambling. After a couple of weeks, a guy who works at the club noticed our predicament and offered us a way of making some extra cash. He was into all sorts of unusual pastimes. I was only ever involved in one of them, and it was only once, honestly, when I was totally skint. What he liked to do was lie in the bath under a glass sheet and get young lads like us to shit on him. I'll pay you a whole week's wage if you do it, he told us. So I did. It wasn't an enjoyable experience by any means, but I was broke and starving. Besides, it could have been a lot worse. I think I just convinced myself that I had to crap somewhere and got on with it. Fucking hell.
Can you believe that from Noddy Holder? It astonished me when I fucking come across that.
That's how it's one of his fucking Saturday jobs.
Shitting on men in bath under glass.
You only did it once, honestly. Honestly.
If you'd have done that ever in your life, you wouldn't put that in your book, would you?
I'd be pretty quiet about that. I probably would struggle to keep it to myself. You'd have to get it out, wouldn't you, every so often, blurting it out to a room full of people. I used to shit on glass tables. So what did he like? Was he sat on them?
No,
Wait.
the guy was in the bath, lay in the bath, and they put a glass sheet over the bath.
Right.
And then Noddy crouched on it and did a shit.
So, is it like, was he squishing it into the glass? What do you reckon?
I reckon he just kind of plopped it on. I don't think he messed around with it. I don't think he pushed it on him or anything.
No, I'm just thinking if you lay on a glass sheet, and you're like kind of sat with your ass on the...
Oh, so it's all...
So it's like just mushing into your ass cheeks.
Oh, fucking hell.
I don't
know, Dominic. I don't know. I don't know why you're asking me this.
Because we've decided to do a podcast to discuss this, so...
I think he just let it plop from on high and jumped off, scuttled off, and then never did it again. I like to think that. I think what you're saying, sadly, might be more closer to the truth. And that he did it a few times.
This guy in the bath just knocking on the glass going, smear it more. I want more shit on surface area.
I think that's probably one of the wildest stories we've come across in any of these. With anyone we've looked at so far, there's nothing quite as rough as that.
Yeah, and he didn't do it for fun.
Did it for money. He pimped his fucking ass out, pimped his shit out.
But do you think he was like laughing about it all night after that, or just like years and years of shame?
Shame. It wasn't an enjoyable experience by any means. And then he said he had to convince himself that he was just having a shit. He's not bragging here. He's not showing off. He's not laughing.
Just fucking absolutely brassic.
Yeah, and gutted about it all.
I'm glad we've got it.
I'm fucking well glad we got this one. It's all time great. Yeah, let's do the next one. So another tour. This time they're off in Amsterdam.
On a trip to Amsterdam, we were booked into an hotel called 13 Balkan. That was the first time we had stayed there. It was a real nitty-gritty kind of place, smack bang in the centre of the red light district. It took me back to my days in Frankfurt. We were due to be in Holland for a week, and we based ourselves at that hotel the whole time. We had an absolute ball. We'd seen some similar red light areas in Germany, but we'd never really experienced what they were like. We couldn't believe our eyes. The first day we walked around staring at the sex shops. We were amazed at all these women sitting in the windows. We thought it was great. The next morning, when we went down to breakfast, all the hookers were there having something to eat. We got chatting to them and they told us about their kids and their lives and how they had to go into prostitution. It was fascinating for us to chat to them about their kids or whatever in the morning and then see them with their tits out in the shop window at night. When we stayed at the hotel a few times, we put them on guest lists for our gigs and they'd offered us freebies in return. Fucking freebies.
It's horrible, isn't it? And he's there, man, talking about the kids and how they got into it and like painting a bit of a grim story. And then at the end, it's like 2 thumbs up. We got a lot of freebies.
Got noshed off for nothing.
Fucking hell, Noddy. How into sex shops and brothels is he?
Well, he's had that formative experience, hasn't he, where he's like built it up in his head as this amazing thing, and it's like a nostalgia trip for him, isn't it?
Yeah, in Soho. But then he's doing it in Frankfurt, in Germany, he's doing it in Amsterdam.
Yeah, he loves them shop windows.
Fucking loves it, doesn't he? Like, if I'd have told you before, Noddy, really into prostitutes, really into hookers. Really into hookers and red light areas. That's Noddy's main bag.
Maybe you couldn't get groupies. Maybe there weren't a lot of glam rock groupies.
Well, interesting you say it, because here's where he starts talking about all his groupie action.
So he did have some.
Super famous now. And in this story here, they tour in America. Peak of the fame, and here's what happens.
We were taken to the Hyatt Hotel on Sunset Strip, which was where all the really big bands stayed in those days. It was a really famous rock and roll hotel. It was where Led Zeppelin rode motorbikes all up and down the corridors. The place was chaos. All the American groupies hung out there, waiting for whatever new English band was due to arrive. We had never experienced anything like it. As soon as we walked through the door, there were literally dozens of girls jumping on us. They greeted every new band like that. We were the latest great white English hopes, so we got the full groupie welcome. We thought, what is this all about? We had been ambushed by female fans before, but we had never known them to be so blatant. They were walking up to us saying, "Can I fuck you tonight?" We were going, "Can we put our bags down first, please?"
Yeah, he talks about this in an interview earlier this year with The Sun. They were asking about his groupies and touring and stuff, and this is what he says.
I always carried a screwdriver and later a full toolkit, so if I had an hour before the gig, I'd fix things. It was quicker than calling down to reception. That way, you can have it all nice for the next person. What the fuck? He's carrying a screwdriver around, so if he fucking like smashes some drawers in, he'll put some new ones back up.
That's fucking nuts, isn't it? I don't know. I think that's made up because it just sounds bollocks. It just sounds nonsense.
I don't know why.
Do you know what? Because this was this year, remember? So he's about 70 odd or something. I think he's playing up to his kind of nice, lovable uncle figure.
Yeah.
And who fixes things. And I think he's just playing up to that and made up this shit. Rather than saying, yeah, we fucking shagged loads of groupies. I think he's just making out that he just fixed things.
But is he saying that he broke it first and then fixed it before he left?
I don't...
Because he knew that he'd get wasted and like smash in a wardrobe.
Fuck no.
Just waking up in the morning and go, "Oh, fucking hell, I fucking smashed everything up. Good job I've got that screwdriver and the fucking wrench. I'll just glue everything back together and put it up. Because I know Freddie Mercury's here tomorrow and he's come to want a nice shelf to put his glass of wine or whatever."
He does talk about groupies a little bit more. Same interview with The Sun earlier this year.
We were a bit uglier and heavier than most of the other bands. Mark Bolan got all the screamers, but we got our fair share. The best bit was always when they'd ask us all round to their parents' house for Sunday lunch.
The best bit was when they come round to some groupie he's just shagged, going to the mum's
meet me mum.
and having some tea.
15-year-old girls.
And 40-year-old Noddy comes in with his big beard.
All right, I just met your daughter at the gig. Do you mind giving me one of them sausages?
There's another bit. He's touring Japan now. So these are all touring stories. Just read that first line. Just read that first line though.
The Japs hated Westerners to see anything sleazy about their culture. That whole side of the country was kept very much under cover.
After that, he talks about threatening a cab driver that he'll strip him naked and throw him out unless they take him to some sleazy clubs. Then going to a club watching transvestites do Shirley Bassey covers, and he loves it.
What's that about him threatening a taxi driver with a screwdriver?
Not with a screwdriver, just that they'd strip him naked.
All right, I've still got the image of him with a screwdriver.
Screwdriver everywhere.
Just fixing shells and then stabbing cabbies with it.
But yeah, man, what's he doing? Using racist slurs. This is 2000 as well, 21st century. He should know better than that. But he does show fondness for Japanese people in this next story.
I fell in love with Japanese girls when we were over there. I think all of us did. They were great fun. I went out with one in particular. She was sent to me as a present from the bass player in the Faces, a Japanese guy called Tetsu, who had taken over from Ronnie Lane. She came to my hotel room on the day we arrived in Japan. She knocked on my door, and when I opened it, she said, "Tetsu sent you a present." I said, "Yeah, what is it?" She said, "Me." That was all she could say. Me. Present. She couldn't speak any other words of English. She was beautiful, though. I took her with me on the whole tour. We had a brilliant time, despite the language barrier. Let's just say we worked out a way to communicate. We pointed to things. she was smashing.
Romance of the century, though.
Just got a present, carried her around on tour, put her in his bag, took her out when he needed her, and she'd go, "Me, present."
And he'd point at things.
Well, when he said, like, we found out a way to communicate, I'm like, oh, right, I bet you did, like, sexually. But no, she just pointed at shit.
My instant thought was he's pointing at his dick. He's just pointing at his dick.
She's pointing at her tits, and he's got, "All right, honk, honk." And then he points at his dick, and she wanks him off. That's probably But no, he probably means sees a nice building, and he points at it. Look at that.
Yeah.
And she just follows his finger and just nods at him.
Yeah. Let's hope that it's that. Yeah, that's a nicer way of thinking about it.
No, let's hope that it's him just pointing at his dick and he fucking wanks him off.
Right, final story here, but it's a good one. It's another touring story. This time they're in Canada.
Once when we were on tour in Canada, I ended up saving two girls' lives. It was on one of our nights off. Swin and I had gone to a bar. We were halfway through a game of pool against a couple of locals when suddenly all the fire alarms went off. Swin and I were going, "Doesn't that mean there's a fire? Shouldn't we get out of here?" The local said, "Don't pay any attention. They're always going off. It's just a cigarette smoke." 5 minutes later, there was smoke billowing into the room. The place was going up in flames, and we were stuck in this back room. The only way out was straight through the fire. So exciting, this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
As I was charging through the flames, I heard screaming coming from the women's toilets. I thought, bloody hell, someone's stuck in there. I couldn't just ignore it. I ran back in and I kicked down the door. There were two girls in there and they couldn't get out. They were terrified. I turned on all the taps, soaked the three of us with water, and then dragged them outside. The next day, it was in all the Canadian papers about how I'd saved these two girls' lives. Then the British press got hold of the story, and it was in loads of papers back home. Both birds gave me a shag afterwards as a way to say thanks. It was definitely worthwhile going to their rescue. Fucking monster.
Well, that's a fucking Beano cartoon, isn't it? That he just made up and put himself in it. That's how he thinks he gets birds. Can't be real, that. Can't be fucking real.
Well, they're probably not thanking him by shagging him. He probably wanted to. Well, no, they're both shagging him. Wait. What, is that the way you thank someone?
Nay.
That's not how you thank people for saving your life.
No, I don't think it happened, that.
That's bollocks, isn't it?
But he just says it dead casual, like, yeah, that's how the world works when you're Noddy Holder.
Maybe it is. Maybe they was like so like amped up. They was like, we're alive, can't believe it. And they just rush in with a new zest for life. They had to do something with it. And he just happened to be there with his stonk on.
Pointing at it.
Yeah. Girls, you know how you're not burned to a crisp? You know how I douse you in water?
Yeah, what the fuck's that?
Maybe there's something else you can get wet for us. Come on, ladies. Jump on.
Everything's so like simple in Noddy's land, isn't it? Everything's really easy and simple and cartoon-like. Yeah, a bit dubious about some of his claims here.
Yeah, we're going to call bullshit on that one, aren't we?
Yeah.
But who knows?
I mean, he don't seem like a liar, and he's not.
Well, it's just that crazy shit happens.
Yeah, and you'd imagine crazy shit happening to him, Ozzy. So yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe it's true.
Who knows?
Noddy, if you're listening, get in touch, man.
Send us some proof of this.
Because it sounds fucking mad. And did you shit on the German man after, or was it just the once?
And did you smear the shit into the glass for him? Or did you just plop it on the glass, do one? I want to know how long this whole process took. Because if you just went donk and fucked off, then yeah, it's not that big a deal. I'd do that.
Woke. Is Noddy Holder woke?
Well, let's play the fucking game. I've got the theme tune ready now.
Alright.
Okay, here we go.
Is he woke or should he be cancelled? Is he a new man or not? Is he enlightened or is he a sex pest? Is he a bastard or what? Noddy Holder. Noddy Holder. Noddy Holder.
So I'm not going to answer this. You answer it first.
You don't treat women that well. But it's not, there's no malice. It's just fucking dumb.
Like in his head, everyone's enjoying life as much as he is.
Everyone.
So if that is the case, if we take it at face value, everyone was having a great time. Sex workers just like, noshing him off and talking about their kids and their struggle. That's what they wanted. But
if every word of it he says is true, then he's not really cancelled.
I don't think he should be getting sex workers to fuck him for nothing just because he got them in a gig when he's like got to know him and like dragging this Japanese woman around.
Just pointing at his dick. No, man, we can't say he's woke. Is he
He's
woke?
not woke.
He's absolutely not woke.
He's from fucking 70s rock scene.
Is he cancelable?
It's got to be. If he's not woke, cancel Noddy. Get fucking bin.
Noddy's cancelled.
Sorry, everyone who likes him.
We didn't want to do it. He seems like a lovely man.
I think he's all right, but we've got to cancel him.
He's done bad shit. Cancelled.
Should we do another? Wait, did we find out how he lost his virginity?
No, never mind about that. It doesn't matter about that. I told you about come on, man. I told you about so many other great things there. I taught you so many other great things about Noddy Holder. You can't call me out on this.
Noddy, if you're listening, can you tell us, was you shitting on people in a bath your first sexual experience? Because if it was, we don't need no anymore. But if you shagged someone before that, do let us know and we'll do a special on you.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oasis, Liam and Noel. Took fucking ages to find these. Obviously, they've not got any books.
They've not written autobiographies.
No, and I really want them to. I really fucking love Liam to do it. I'm constantly asking Liam on Twitter to do it.
Have you done it? Have you asked it?
Loads. I mean, Liam doing autobiography. A lot of people are always asking him, and he just says, "No, I'm no good with words, and I can't remember anything."
Well, that's that's definitely right. He definitely would be. He'd read like Vanilla Ice's autobiography, like a fucking toddler's written it.
That's why it'd be brilliant as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love it. and I'd love Noel to do one as well.
But there's plenty of their own words to be looking at where they've talked about shit. They've given a million interviews, haven't they?
Yeah, and that's what these are from. They're from interviews. First off, Noel, what do you think his sex life is like?
Oh, really dull. Once a fortnight.
Lights out.
Lights out. Socks on, Y fronts down. Just 7.5 minutes. Thank you very much, madam. And then back to the Game Boy. Cheeky wink.
Burps. Lights a cig. What about Liam? What's Liam's sex life like?
Yeah, I bet he's a bit more adventurous.
What do you think of Oasis?
I've got a funny relationship with Oasis because I've spent so long just hating them, being pissed off at, like, when you're from Manchester and everyone's going on about them all the time, and everyone who don't give a fuck about music is talking about them. So, like, as a person who likes decent music, you're not allowed to like them anymore. And it's only recently I've kind of realised, actually, they've got loads of amazing tunes. And, like, come to peace with them. They've fell a bit out of favour now, so much so I don't feel like I'm not allowed to dig them.
Well, do you think they've gone out of favour? I think their influence is massive among...
Their influence is still massive, but culturally they're not as present as they were 20 years ago.
That's true. They're more like the old guard now.
Like, every other person you'd see in the street would look like they was in Oasis.
When we were kids, when we were like 15, fucking...
Yeah, we went
loved them.
watching them
Yeah.
together. But I didn't like it. It was full of dickheads.
It's mad, isn't it? And I kind of like the fact that everyone likes them. And I like that about it. It's like a universal thing that runs through everyone.
Like
especially in
football.
Manchester. Yeah, it's a football thing. And you're not into football, are you? You're not into
No, I hate it when people talk to me about football. Can you believe they've signed fucking Algar?
Who's that guy?
Well, exactly. That's what it sounds like to me. And I meant to go, yeah, I think they've spent a bit too much on him, to be honest.
Do you
They
actually
probably
respond like that? Do you say that?
Well, no, I'm meant to.
Oh, right.
Sometimes I do. But but if I come back to them and go, oh, yeah, have you seen the new Lars von Trier film? What did you think of that ending? Fucks von Trier.
But yeah, last year or so, I've got really, really, really back into them. And I know the dickheads, and I know Noel especially is a real fucking dickhead. I kind of like Liam. I like his childlike dumbness. I don't like Noel. But then again, Noel wrote the song, so you've got to respect Noel. But it's complicated. It's a really complicated relationship with the band.
I wouldn't say I was an Oasis fan, but I listen to them regular. They've got fucking bangers.
But we're not here
to talk about the bloody music, are we?
We're here to talk about the dicks. And
Get your dicks out, lads.
What they do with the dicks.
Get your dick out, Liam.
Right, first story. This is an interview with Noel Gallagher and The Guardian from 1995. And this is a bona fide famous first time.
We were at the girl's house, bunking off school. And as we were upstairs, having it, we heard this almighty commotion and there's this knocking at the front door. So we thought, sod that. And we carried on. So when we were finished, we looked out of the window and there was an ambulance. It turns out that the dustman had had an heart attack and dropped down dead on the front doorstep. He'd been knocking to try and get us to call a doctor.
Yeah, they've killed someone by, not responding to an emergency and just doing what they're doing with the bits and pieces. So they're responsible for his death, in my eyes, Ian.
If you have an heart attack, you don't just go knocking on someone's door. Or do you? If you're a dustman.
What do you do then? Just sit there? Just accept it? Oh, well, I suppose now is my time. I shall put down this bin outside Noel Gallagher's house and let their gentle moans lull me into the afterlife. And I will soon be with my family.
Surely in the street, though, in the daytime, there's going to be someone walking around. I don't know, it just seems bollocks. It just sounds fucking bollocks to me. Okay, later in the same interview, Noel talks about Liam and the girls that they both get bothered by.
Liam gets all these sex-starved young girls with big breasts, right? I get the psychopaths. One thinks she has written every Oasis song before I did. Am I doing this too?
This is super gay.
One thinks that she has written every Oasis song before I did, in her dreams. And after Supersonic, I know a girl called Elsa. She's into Alka-Seltzer. It seemed that though every Elsa in the land thinks it's about her, I'd just like to clear that one up. Elsa was a dog, right? A Rottweiler. His songs are about fuck all.
Yeah.
Know a dog that's into Alka-Seltzer. No, you don't. You don't know any fucking dogs that are into indigestion tablets.
Does give a little insight into the kind of groupies they're getting. Like he's just getting ones who blag him and do his head in. Liam gets all the good ones.
Yeah.
And he seems a little bit jealous, doesn't he? He seems a little bit pissed off.
Yeah. He's not getting any knockers for bang around. I want big knockers.
It's either Noel's a whinging twat, which he probably is, but it is interesting to imagine him just being pissed off bothered by nutters constantly.
Yeah.
Whereas Liam's just having a fucking great time shagging a load of girls. Okay, in 1996, Liam had an interview with a Spanish magazine called Bravo, and I'll do the interview questions.
And I'll be Liam.
What kind of women do you like?
All of them. To me, every girl has something fascinating. I don't care if she's blonde, brunette, or redhead. With me, every girl's got a chance. I sometimes prefer the ones that aren't so cute because they work harder in bed.
He said he smiles. I didn't know. I think that's what noise he makes when he smiles.
Yeah. Have you always been a conquistador?
And how?
That's what he says.
It's been translated, so it's probably lost some in translation.
No, he definitely says.
And how? At 14, I started into sex, and I knew right away that it was for me.
That, sadly, is all we've got on Liam's virginity story. That he lost it at 14, and he liked it. We don't know much more than that, except that he likes every girl ever.
Good. They've all got something to offer. Quite open-minded about that.
Good on him.
Yeah.
Not so good on him, the comment after. The one he prefers the ones that aren't so cute because they work harder in bed. That's a shitty thing to say, isn't it? Okay, last one. This is... it's a bit of a weird one, this. So, obviously, Liam and Noel haven't written a book, but Tony McCarroll, the original drummer on Definitely Maybe, he has written a book. It's fucking shit. It's really, really awful.
Have we got his virginity story?
Yeah, but I'm not going to read it to you because it's fucking dire. And it is dire. But this is a story about Liam having a shag and Tony was there. Tony's involved in it. And what I've done took a bit of artistic license and switched the characters. So it's from Liam's point of view. Really, but it's really Tony's words, but it's from Liam's point of view. It's going to fuck off, man. That's what we're going to get. This is the best we're going to get.
All right. So this is Liam's word. I mean, they went through the same experience. Everyone experiences the same thing in the same way, don't they?
And they were good mates from Manchester. It'll be
Everyone's perspective on one thing is the same as another's.
If you ask Liam about this story, this
exactly
incident, these words would be the exact ones that he says.
I asked Tony if he wanted to come to an apartment that belonged to a girl we'd met earlier that evening. We called her Mary Poppins due to her high-class English accent. She was a model from Britain who decamped to New York. She was also an addict. Drugs, fame, alcohol, money, sex and danger. These were a few of her favourite things.
That's his Mary Poppins callback, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he's got fucking Mary Poppins and Maria from Sound of Music mixed up.
Oh,
Liam wouldn't have made that mistake.
Yeah, we'll blame Tony.
She lived in an old converted warehouse in Manhattan, right? Which, like her, had been around the New York scene since mid-80s. That night, she only had eyes for me. We headed to a loft apartment and I vanished into the bedroom for a few minutes, where I sowed my rock and roll seeds, then re-entered the main room. Flustered and agitated, fucking weirdo wanted me condom. She tried to stick a fucking label on it. The girl was sitting down talking about spiritual things. Then she unlocked a steel cabinet in the corner, which looked like a small fridge. From inside, she moved a number of items and held them up to the light. She was waving an handful of used condoms with the white labels attached. Tony was laughing and this agitated me more. What's on the labels? Tony asked Mary. Previous donors, came the reply. Each rubber had been labelled with the date and time of each donation, as well as the origin of it. The small fridge was keeping the juice loose, and it looked like Mary was planning to artificially create her own supergroup. I saw 2 labels that read Kurt Cobain and Nikki Sixx. By now I was yanking at various locks on the enormous front door in order to escape. I was heaving them open and then, in a drug-induced panic, locking them again. The longer this went on, the crazier I was getting, and the more Tony laughed. Eventually, we made off back to our hotel. Tony told me I should be proud of being held in such high company. I told him to fuck off.
I think all that's made up. I think Tony just added a fucking load of shit to his
That's fucking. Well, I was thinking of it as Liam and just thinking Liam's just imagined this.
Yeah.
Liam's just had like a fucking bender and just hallucinated a load of fucking shit. But there's no way that some bird's shagging Kurt Cobain, Nikki Sixx, and then getting Liam back
And keeping the jizz.
in a fucking test tube in the fridge.
And it doesn't even work like that, does it? You can't. I don't know. You can't store jizz. It'll fucking crisp up.
In a fridge.
Don't know. No, let's try it.
Okay.
We'll let you know next week.
Yeah, well, let's jizz in a fucking test
Oh,
tube.
we never got back to the listeners about DMX's cornflakes. Are they still there?
Shit. Forgot about them.
Go and have a sniff. Let us know.
All right. Till your next episode.
Yeah, this story.
It's just pure fantasy,
It's
isn't
pure,
it?
like, completely made up. Absolute bullshit.
But who would they have as a drummer? Who's she going to shag for the drummer? Tony.
Oh, God, that could be a good band, that. Liam singing, Kurt on guitar, Nicky, he's on bass,
Yeah.
Nicky Sixx bass. You don't want Tony fucking McCarroll on drums.
Just like
plodding away.
Just plodding away. Ba-dum bum. Ba-dum bum. Ba-ba-ba. Bum bum. Pff. Bum bum. Pff. Bum bum. Pff.
That's what it'd be. innit?
Jesus, do something. Can't play to this beat. It's the shit Ringo.
But imagine how many times that's happened to Tony. Just hanging out in Oasis. Liam gets shagged and Tony's just sat there in the front room waiting while Liam's shagging. So that image, I can really imagine. That's true.
But this fridge.
Fridge full of famous jizz. No, not having it.
Good story, though. Good fantasy story.
Some
Good
fiction.
fan fiction.
Yeah,
there.
good weird fanfic about his mate. His actual mate.
He's been told, write a book. It's like, got fucking nothing.
That's it, mate.
I went home after every fucking gig. I got a tin of beans. Fucking heated up with tin of beans. And sometimes I sprinkle a bit of cheese on top. give it a bit of a kick. You not do anything more exciting. We'll give you £250,000 if you have stories. Oh yeah, just come to think of it, there was a fridge full of jizz.
Have you heard about the Rihanna rumour with Noel Gallagher this week? This is literally this week,
Right, yeah,
a couple of days ago. Rumours that Noel Gallagher has been shagging Rihanna. Can you imagine that? Can you picture them two
Oh,
together?
they'd be a lovely couple. This is definitely true.
I bet she's
She
taller.
wouldn't
than him.
fucking touch him in the barge pole. She can have anyone she wants. And he's like fucking 50.
Yeah, and she's Rihanna, one of the most famous, adored women in the world. So that's not true either. But weird how that happened this week.
Why, who's saying this then?
Yeah, Noel Gallagher addressed his roomies enjoyed a fling. I'll tell you exact words what he said. This is Noel Gallagher's statement on the rumour.
Not true. But I wish her all the best. I wish it was. And good luck to her, man.
Good luck to her.
Right, bullshit scale on most of them. I think the actual virginity and sex story they're talking about in the interviews, they're pretty true.
Well, there's fuck all to him. We've got two.
Fuck me, man.
Sorry.
Sat here. Dirty bastard. Stop it.
Oh, that stinks as well.
Fuck's sake.
Shit.
Is it going to come over here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Should we go outside?
Oh, yeah, we'll finish this in a minute. Fucking knob. Are they woke? Are these two woke?
You do.
Oh yeah, we've got to do the fucking.
Here we go.
You fired again, you dirty bastard.
Is he woke or should he be cancelled? Is he a new man or not? Is he enlightened or is he a sex pest? Is he a bastard or what? Noel Gallagher! Liam Gallagher! The Gallaghers!
Does that smell you though?
So I don't know. Yeah, they're woke. They're both woke. They don't objectify anyone.
No, Liam does, but he's also open to anyone.
Yeah, he's accepted anyone,
Even mingers.
of any shape, size, or minginess. So fair play, like.
Let's woke him.
You woke.
One of the very few woke ones we've done.
Yeah.
The-
Liam Gallagher and Noel Gallagher
and Rick James.
and Rick James are all woke, and that's 2, 3 virginity stories that we've brought to you in the first of the new series of Famous First Times.
Yeah, 3 for the price of 1.
Except, do we actually know how any of these? Oh, it don't matter. We've given you some stories about when they were young and shagging. The first times that we know about and that we can find out about. So yeah, we've done all right.
Brilliant. What a good way
Success.
to wrap it up there, Dom.
Yeah.
leave them wanting more. Leave on a high. Great, thanks for listening. That's been episode 1 of series 2 of Famous First Times.
I've been Dominic.
I've been Ian.
And make sure you click that subscribe button so you know about all the future episodes that are coming up.
And you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. What are you doing?
It's just boring, this bit. Isn't it?
It's shit, isn't it? I'm sick of doing this outro stuff.
I'm sick of this
Right.
fucking podcast. It's only episode 1.
Right, cheers, bye.
Right, see ya.
See ya.